But if we had to actually sacrifice American children, specifically if congressmen and Joe Biden had to sacrifice their children, I think we'd have a very different tone about whether this is a worthy war.
Joe Biden, in point of fact, his son did go to Iraq. Donald Trump has said that he would look at the idea of reinstating the draft, the military draft here in this country. Would you support that?
My daughter served in this country in the U.S. Army. She's 20 years old. She got her citizenship because serving, and we need a strong military force because America is strong, the world is safe. That's all that I have to say. Yesterday I was crying the whole time in this convention because I saw all those moms that lost their kids in Afghanistan. We need stronger leadership. We need, and it's not fair with our soldiers, what is going on under Biden now. Nobody trusts him. And we look bad globally under his leadership.
Donald Trump has said that he would give some thought to reinstating the draft. How would you feel about that?
Oh, I hope it wouldn't come to that. I really don't. I have all respect for military, and I was never in the military, but I hope that that doesn't have to happen.
Donald Trump has said he would entertain the idea of reintroducing the draft. How would you feel about that?
That is a very good question. I actually had a huge breakthrough. Okay, I've actually thought about this a lot. I'd support it. And the reason is this. If we are going to continue, basically there's three powers in the world, Russia, China, and America. The reason that we got out of Vietnam is because moms and dads and peace activists everywhere took to the streets and disrupted the conversation because it was bullshit that we were in Vietnam. We don't have the same impetus to end the war in Ukraine because we're using the Ukrainians as fodder. We're paying for their weapons. And people who analyze the foreign policy situation will tell you this. The Ukrainians are doing the fighting for us. It's pennies on the dollar. But if we had to actually sacrifice American children, specifically if congressmen and Joe Biden had to sacrifice their children, I think we'd have a very different tone about whether this is a worthy war.
Joe Biden, in point of fact, his son did go to Iraq.
Was that before or after his indictments for drug possession? Or, sorry, he wasn't indicted for that. The charges were dropped because a special favor was called in. Was that before or after the drugs were found in his car, or he was almost, he cheated on his wife who knows how many times, or whatever other criminal indictments he's gotten? I think the latest are gun charges.
It was a different son. It was his son, Beau.
Right. And honestly, for Beau, that's right. I'm sorry. Hunter briefly enlisted. For Beau, my deepest condolences to the Biden family. Iraq was a horrible war. It should have never started, and everyone who brought us into that war, frankly, is guilty of war crimes, including the Bush administration and Senator Biden.
Donald Trump has floated the idea that he would look at reinstating the draft. Is that something that you would be in support of?
It's unfortunate because of our commander-in-chief right now, our soldiers and the people joining our military that are in our military do not feel that their commander-in-chief has their back. I don't think he would have to introduce the draft. If you were here last night, you saw our 98-year-old Wisconsin veteran saying if Donald Trump gets elected, he would re-enlist. When you have a commander-in-chief that has the back of the police and the military, you will see a stronger enrollment. So I don't think that's something he would have to do.
Personally, I don't think I want a 98-year-old soldier defending my country, but that's a totally different conversation.
And we're hoping that everybody sees the wonderful things that we have here in Wisconsin. Don't forget those Packers, don't forget those cheeseheads, and don't forget our beer.
I don't think a lot of people are forgetting the beer.
The beer is a good one, yeah.
The idea that Donald Trump has said that he would consider reinstating the draft, is that something that appeals to you?
It doesn't immediately appeal to me, but it appeals to some people in the party. I am running for Congress in Michigan, and I know that is something that I would probably speak against, but that's what democracy is about. That is what the founding fathers talked about with the executive branch, the legislative branch, and the judicial branch. And it is my hope to be in the legislative branch, and it is my hope for him to be in the executive branch so we can have that dialogue and that discourse and that back and forth rhetoric.